If you see Donald, the gentleman who's running for president, tell him I said, if you see Donald, you tell him that I said, just tell him I said hello. Listen, I am Sherman D. Manning joining you live from Los Angeles, California in this podcast. If you're listening in Atlanta, Georgia, if you're listening in Los Angeles, in Chicago, in Switzerland, wherever you are, got a lot of texts yesterday. I want you to text me today and let me know that you heard this podcast. Text me at 404-386-9356 and simply say, Sherman, I heard you. Text me at 404-386-9356 and simply say, Sherman, I heard you. This number will be operational until 6 o'clock p.m. today, West Coast time. I am Sherman D. Manning, author of the new book, The Truth About O.J. Simpson, Race, Class, Money, and Justice. Get it at local bookstores. Get it at Amazon.com. If you've been watching the FX series titled The People vs. O.J. Simpson, you don't want to miss this book, The Truth About O.J. Simpson, Race, Class, Money, and Justice. It is available at local bookstores as well as on Amazon.com. Get that book today. It is not just about O.J. It is also about the no-J's. You'll be glad you got it. Share it with criminal justice students, criminal justice professors, and anyone else interested in social justice or politics in this country. Your friend Donald is also in the book. Hillary Clinton is in it. Bernie Sanders is also in it. It is a book that needs to be read. The Truth About O.J. Simpson, Race, Class, Money, and Justice. Get it at local bookstores or get it at Amazon.com. Listen, Donald needs help. The kind of help that Donald needs will only come from a psychiatrist or a bottle or maybe some will say a bullet. But I'm not going to say that because I'm nonviolent. And I practice nonviolence and I advocate nonviolence. But there's something wrong with this man. Again, if you listen to this broadcast, if you're listening to this podcast, I need you to text me at 404-386-9356. I'll give that number out again in a moment. I want you to text me and say, Sherman, I heard you. Are you ready? Get your pen. Get your phone. Program it in right now. And text me and tell me that you heard this podcast. The number is 404-386-9356. If you don't want to text me, send me a quick email. ShermanDManning@gmail.com. ShermanDManning@gmail.com. Just tell me you heard it. Okay? Vote as you please. But please vote. If you don't vote, you don't count. Vote as you please. But please vote. The 1% would have no power if the 99% would exercise its power by voting. Vote. I am tremendously pleased with the fact that Donald decided to run for president. What he has done is to bring racism, to bring bigotry, and to bring stupid white men, the kind that Michael Moore wrote about in his book, Stupid White Men, to the forefront, and to put him on display for all of America and for all of the world to see. Because quite frankly, in the age of Obama, a lot of us had forgotten that these kind of people exist. And then the ones of us who were cognizant of the fact that they existed thought that it was only poor people, the ones that some people refer to as trailer trash. The kind of folk you see on Jerry Springer acting a darn fool, running around and fighting each other. And a lot of us had forgotten or simply did not know that there are wealthy men and women in America who cling to the same kind of racist ideology that Bull Connor had in the 50s. A lot of us did not know that this kind of blatant disregard for those who are less fortunate, the kind of fun that Donald made of the disabled man, and this kind of duplicity existed. And so I'm glad he is there, because he is a constant reminder of what we don't need and where we don't want to go back to. He's just a racist on steroids. He's just a racist with a couple of dollars. If you stripped him of his money, he would just be considered a stupid, old, racist white man. Period. That's what Donald would be. He has no substance. There's nothing to him. He's sort of like cotton candy. When you bite down into him, as I've said before, there's nothing there. And if you eat a whole lot of it, you'll get sick. And it will never fill you up, and it will never stick to the ribs. That sounds a little bit comical, but the seriousness of this matter cannot be understated. And that is, if we make the mistake of electing a buffoon who is this unpredictable, this will threaten the security of this nation and cause global tidal waves and ripples unlike anything we've seen in modern history. So your assignment is to get out the vote. Your assignment is to get out to vote. Your assignment is to tell every friend, every loved one, everybody that you hold dear, to either go out and vote for Hillary or go vote for another Republican other than Donald. And quite frankly, if you vote for Ted Cruz, you may as well be voting for Donald, because Ted Cruz is another certified extremist. I'm glad Ben Carson decided to drop out of the race because, as I've said before, Ben Carson is the third worst thing to ever happen to Black America. Ben Carson is the third worst thing to ever happen to America. Are you with me? Are you hearing what I'm saying? If you are, I need you to email me, ShermanDManning@gmail.com, or text me at 404-386-9356 and tell me that you heard me. Don't forget to get my book, The Truth About O.J. Simpson, Race, Class, Money, and Justice. Available at local bookstores as well as on Amazon.com. Racism fascinates me. And one of the reasons it fascinates me is because for years I didn't talk about it. For years I really did not even think about it. And that is because, you are a product of your environment. And I did not grow up in a household that made racism a top priority. It was explained to us. We knew it existed. We knew how to recognize it when we saw it, but it was just not a chief topic in my household. And because of the manner in which I was reared, I ended up with many, many, many white friends, many black friends, and some Hispanic friends also. And so when you deal with white people and commingle with white people and associate yourself with white people who are not racist, who are not bigots, who are not even classist, it sort of numbs you to the existence of this whole other world where you have the Donalds of life. People like Donald who say that black people have a lazy gene, and they don't remember that there are more white people on welfare in America than there are black. People like Donald who make fun of those who are disabled, who is misogynistic, who feels that a woman can't be raped by her husband. People like Donald who raped his own ex-wife. People like Donald who has molested his own children and think that that's all right. You forget that these people exist. You forget that they're really out there and that they're not so far away. That very often they're in your neighborhood. They're in the same building where you live, reside, or work. And so I'm glad Donald is out there, because he has given us a front row view of what it's like to hold a Klan rally. When you see all of those white people out there throwing Hitler salutes, chanting and saluting him as if he were Adolf Hitler, it is a reminder, a blatant reminder that this country still has an issue concerning race which needs to be dealt with, which has not adequately been dealt with. And so what we have to do, those of us who are not racist, those of us who are not into that kind of mode of thinking, we have to come together and to become more vocal than the Donalds of life. We have to let it be known that this land is your land. This land is my land. This land was made for you and me. We have to let it be known that we believe that red and yellow, black and white, we're all the same in God's sight. We have to let it be known that truth pressed to earth shall rise again. And in order to make it rise again, we have to stand up and proclaim the truth. Proclaim it everywhere you can. Prognosticate it to every corner of the earth. And the more of us that become boisterous and vociferous, the more of us that turn up the volume and become more voluminous in the things that we write and the things we talk about, etc., the better this world will be. We have got to make our voices heard. I am not a racist. I do not believe that white people are blue-eyed devils. I do not believe that all white people are racist. I do not believe that Mexican people are rapists. I do not believe that. I believe that God created every man, every woman, every child, and that he did so in his own image, and that there's some redeeming social and spiritual quality in each person who is on the planet, even those who are not American. I believe that together we stand, divided we fall. It should be one, all for one and one for all. And so I want to see us come together and make this country the country that it ought to be, and make this country the country that it can be, and make this country the country that it should be. America is a great country. We can make it greater. And the way you make it greater is you get together and you work together and you pray together and you study together and you analyze and scrutinize and do what is necessary to fix those broken spots along the road, to smooth out those rough places that are preventing people, or at least slowing them down from making it to the American dream. I am so excited today, I can hardly see straight. I am so happy tonight. I'm happy to be alive and well. I'm happy to be free. I am happy that I'm able to articulate the vision that God has given me and to do my best to try to make it become reality. I'm willing to work with firm determination, 18 or 20 hours a day, whatever it takes, to get to my destiny, to get to the place that God would have me be. There's some reason he woke me up this morning and started me on my way. And I want to get there, hello there, to my destiny. And I want you to get to your destiny. And I believe that we can do so if we believe in God, if we believe in ourselves. Let's make the country better. Let's make America better. President Barack Obama has done a tremendous job. He can't do it all. You have to do your part. I have to do my part. We have to make the effort to consistently make this country more secure, make this country more safe, and make this country more welcoming to those immigrants who come along our way. Not all of them are terrorists. Most of them are not terrorists. Not all of them mean any harm to us. I understand all of the arguments about, well, we don't have enough jobs for us, and we're giving all our jobs. I get all of that. But at the end of the day, let's welcome people here with open arms, because this country was founded on the principle, bring me your tired and huddled masses yearning to breathe free. And I believe that we can accept those who are yearning to breathe free, and that they can become a part of the economic engine that makes this country spin at a faster pace, grow more rapidly, and become more welcoming and more loving. I am Sherman D. Manning. I would like for you to send me an email. Tell me you heard the podcast. ShermanDManning@gmail.com. I would like for you to send me a text at 404-386-9356. and tell me you heard the podcast. I would like for you to go to the store